Good morning. Welcome to the UU Church of the South Hills, also known as Sunnyhill. We're so delighted that you could join us this morning for our service. Our mission here at Sunnyhill is to create a more just and compassionate community within and beyond our walls. My name is Krista Stanley, and I serve as a worship associate for this congregation. If you're a newcomer or a visitor to our congregation, please go to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says New to Sunnyhill to receive more information about our congregation and to receive our weekly email newsletter. Also, if you'd like to be greeted as a newcomer today after the service, please take a red mug and members will seek you out to make sure that you are warmly welcomed. If you're joining us online today, please say hello or good morning in the comments on Facebook or YouTube. We'd like to hear from you and extend a welcome to you as well. A gentle reminder to everyone here in the sanctuary, please be sure to silence your cell phones or other electronic devices so that we can enjoy the service together uninterrupted by buzzing or ringing. Today's service is titled Frozen and Liberating Love. The Frozen animated film franchise explores the shadow side of the hero's journey and collective identity. What are the implications of these themes for our own lives and our own culture? And how can courageous love lead to liberation, both for individuals and for society as a whole? Our opening words were written by Jay Wolin. Are we a people of holding on or letting go? Holding on to rigid ideas, or letting go and opening our minds and our hearts to something new? Holding on to certainty of how things should be, or letting go and living with the uncertainty of new ways of being in the world? Holding on to what makes us comfortable, or letting go so we may grow, which can be uncomfortable? Holding on to what makes us safe, or letting go to make room to help others feel safe? In this new year, may we burn the ties that hold us back from being our true selves and reaching our true potential. May the flame we kindle be a symbol of lighting a new way, and may it be a symbol of letting go. Because holding on too long and too tightly is never good for the soul. Please join me in saying the words for lighting our chalice. In the bleak and cold winter, we gather ourselves in to light the fire, to warm our spirits, to kindle the flame of love and hope.
Morning and Happy New Year. Please rise, embody your spirit to join in singing our opening hymn. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Thank you. Please be seated.
Good morning. My sermon later in the service will focus on messages from the Disney movie Frozen and its sequel, Frozen 2. And all of the music for the rest of our service comes from the Frozen movies. This service is adapted from a similar one we did 4 years ago in January of 2020, just a couple of months before the COVID shutdown. If you have children between the ages of, say, 5 and 21, you are very likely extremely familiar with the movie and have probably watched the film and heard the soundtrack, not just a few times, but dozens, if not hundreds of times. If you do not have young children, you may have somehow escaped Frozen mania and have no idea what the big deal is. I'll provide a synopsis of the movies later on, but for now, suffice it to say that Frozen is not just a favorite of many children, but something like an obsession. A New York Times article from a few years ago included interviews with parents and children talking about Frozen and what it means to them. Stephanie O'Hara, mother of Smith O'Hara, age 4, said, "Just the other day, I walked into Smith's room, and he was in his underwear with a blanket wrapped around him, twirling and belting out 'Let It Go' in front of the mirror. I've heard that song so many times my ears bleed. I'd never tell him, though." Peter Ryder said, "Our 2-year-old said, 'Hey Google,' before she said any of our names. So now she's always yelling at the machine, 'Hey Google, play Let It Go.'" Heather Holliday said of her son Boston, "One Christmas in Florida, Boston learned that it wasn't cold enough to build a snowman. He suggested singing the song, 'Do You Want to Build a Snowman?' from the movie together instead. During the part of the song that talks about playing together, he said, 'But we'll always be friends. I'll always want to play with you, Mommy.'" It would be easy to dismiss the Frozen films as merely more evidence of the insidious Disney marketing machine as the evil empire of our time, and there's certainly some truth to that. However, any time a film or a song is as big as the Frozen movies have been, it's worth examining why they are so immensely popular. So rather than being dismissive of the films, I would ask you to consider them anew today, and in the words of Elsa, to let it go. Speaking of which, we'll now sing Let It Go as a sing-along. Any children who would like to come up and help lead the singing, please come forward now, along with any adults who would like to come up and help us. We'll have the words on the screen, so I invite and encourage everyone who's familiar with the song to please sing along.
You have to sing too, even if you're sitting. The snow glows white on the mountain tonight, not a footprint to be seen. A kingdom of isolation, and it looks like I'm the queen. The wind is howling like the swirling storm inside. Couldn't keep it in, heaven knows I've tried. Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Oh, now they know. anyway. It's funny how some distance makes everything seem small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Let it go, let it go. I'm one with the wind and sky. Let it go, let it go. You'll never see me cry, 'cause here I stand, and here I'll stay. Let the storm rage on. Show me your magic, people. We're building the palace. We're making it happen. My powers flurries through the air into the ground. My soul is spiraling in rows and fractals all around. And one thought crystallizes like an icy blast. I'm never going back. The past is in the past. Let it go, let it go. When I rise like the break of dawn, let it go, let it go. That perfect girl is gone. And here I stand in the light of day. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. All right, Rainy's gonna play you off to Ari. Thank you.
This is the portion of our service when we share joys and sorrows that have been submitted by members of the congregation. After each joy or sorrow that I read, please respond by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." A joy and sorrow from Michaeline and Wendy Stabiel Bell. They say, "A sorrow and a joy from Michaeline and Wendy. A sorrow that COVID finally caught up with us and that we will have to sing along from our living room today. A joy that so many of our Sunnyhill friends have sent kind offers of help and well wishes. To Wendy and Michaeline, we hold you in our hearts." A joy from Elizabeth Scanlon. She says, "News from the Scanlon household. Anderson John Bianco arrived on his own time, Sunday, December 17th. This is the Scanlon's great-grandson. "We are delighted to know him and learn from him. Sophia, our granddaughter, is doing well. Thanks for rooting for the team." Also, Elizabeth retired on December 22nd. She had surgery for arthritis on her thumb and wrist on December 28th and is prepared to start the new year better than ever. To the Scanlon family, we hold you in our hearts. A joy from John Lewis. This was a couple of weeks ago. It's been a couple of weeks since we had a service here, so some of these might be a little bit dated. John, who I believe works for FedEx, mentions that peak season is finally over at work, and I will have around 10 hours of my week back. To John, we hold you in our hearts. As we sing our musical meditation, we invite anyone who feels moved to do so to come forward, light a candle, place it in the sand, and then return to your seats.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Ooh, ooh,
Please join me in the spirit of meditation or prayer. Each motion we make, forward, backward, sideways, might be the start of a journey that will take us places we may have never imagined, anticipated, or prepared for. Each departure might lead toward ideas, insights, inspirations that would not have been possible or even conceivable had we remained mired in the narrow confines of our former lives. Each moment of disequilibrium, of falling and catching ourselves, might result in the first step towards something entirely new, something that has long remained obscured from our view. Let us take a moment of silence to consider the journeys of our lives, those that have brought us to this place, and those that will lead us on. May our lives be blessed with an awareness of the journey we are on. May our journeying lead us to a place of peace, freedom, and understanding. And may we ever be grateful for our traveling companions on the road of life. Amen. As I mentioned earlier, those among us with young children are almost undoubtedly intimately familiar with the animated Disney films Frozen and Frozen 2, whether we want to be or not. My own daughter was 9 years old when the original movie was released, and it became an instant favorite in our household. Over the course of several years, I heard and saw parts of the film maybe 50 times or so, but it wasn't until the sequel came out 4 years ago that I sat down and watched the whole film from start to finish, and I watched Frozen 2 shortly thereafter. So what is it all about? What is the story of these films, and why is it important, if it is important at all? Perhaps the most concise synopsis I've read of the plot of Frozen was written by blogger J.W. Wartick, who describes it as follows. Frozen is a story about two princesses, sisters. Elsa and Anna are best friends as little children until Elsa's magical powers get out of control and she accidentally harms her sister. In response, her parents hide Elsa away from the kingdom, the staff, and away from her little sister. Anna, not knowing why she and Elsa can't play together anymore, feels alone and abandoned. As each wrestles with issues of identity and love, the story unfolds. In the end, it is the love between the two sisters that becomes the focal point. The romantic love interests play a role, but they are largely contrasted with the true love story, the love the two sisters have for each other. Anna ends up freeing herself, the whole kingdom, and her insecure older sibling with an act of sacrificial love. It's a powerful message in tone and in presentation. Frozen 2 delves even more deeply into themes of personal and familial identity, but also goes to an even more challenging and darker level of bringing to the surface secrets and unspoken chapters, both in the history of Anna and Elsa's family and in the history of their kingdom and its relationship with the indigenous peoples whose land they essentially took over as their own. In other words, the film starts to explore the theme of colonialism and the ways in which Western culture and religion has damaged or obliterated indigenous cultures and religions. There are two themes in Frozen and Frozen 2 that I'd like to explore briefly today to examine the theological underpinnings of the films and the wisdom that they have to offer us. The first is finding and exploring one's individual identity, even with the problematic aspects of that identity, and then learning how to live out that identity in an authentic and life-affirming way, not just in isolation, but in community with others. The second theme, which I'll get to a little later, has to do with exploring problematic aspects of one's own community and culture and coming to terms with the harm that they may have caused, while also learning how to take steps to heal or repair that harm to the extent that it can be repaired or healed. Frozen takes a good hard look at the theme of individual identity, with the focus squarely on female-identified characters. Historically, animated children's films have had a big problem when it comes to their portrayal of female characters, especially films featuring princesses who are often shown as passive victims whose main function is to wait to be rescued by a man. When my daughter was younger and I read her books of fairy tales, I was honestly appalled by some of the very same books that I had read as a child because they were so clearly sexist and disempowering for women and girls, which had never occurred to me. And many of the older animated versions of these stories were the same way, featuring extremely unenlightened stereotypes of female characters. In more recent years, however, Disney princesses have changed and gradually become stronger, more empowered, more self-motivated and self-determined, and honestly, more likable as a result. In Frozen, we find not just one, but two interesting, independent, and powerful female leads. Although both have their flaws and challenges, both Elsa and Anna reflect changing norms in the portrayal of Disney princesses. But more than anything else, the two Frozen movies deal with what the author and theologian Richard Rohr has described as the difference between the first half of life and the second half of life. As I've mentioned before, these two halves do not necessarily correspond strictly to chronological age. In other words, you can gain second half of life wisdom while you're still relatively young. And conversely, you can live to a very old age without gaining any of this wisdom at all. What Rohr says is this: to live in the first half of life is largely a matter of survival. All it takes is what some call the reptilian brain. And any good reptile, like any good reptile, it is largely concerned with reproduction, food, and survival. All that is important at this stage is my private moral superiority, and that is as far as first half of life values can get you. Identity, security, and boundary questions are basically concerns of the ego, Rohr says. That does not make them bad, but they are just a starting point. The soul has different concerns. For Elsa and Anna in the first Frozen film, everything is about identity, security, and boundaries. What starts out as a conventional-seeming Disney romance between Anna and Hans takes an abrupt 180-degree turn and becomes a lesson about betrayal and the duplicity and cruelty of men, with Anna persevering and eventually triumphing over the forces of patriarchal oppression, largely through discovering her own identity, the truest and most authentic expression of herself as a means of making herself more secure. As for Elsa, she is the victim mostly of her own struggle to come to terms with her magical powers, a core part of her identity, as well as being perhaps the victim of her parents' rather inhumane lack of imagination in dealing with Elsa and her powers by keeping her locked away. But years after her parents' deaths, when Elsa breaks free and throws caution to the wind, there is such absolute joy and immense power in her actions and her attitude. It's at this point in the story that Let It Go appears as a celebration of unfettered self-determination and the magic of self-abandon and finding one's truest self at last. But for Elsa, the choice seems to be either living a lie and pretending that she has no magical powers, or fully embracing her magical identity but living in complete isolation from others, even those she loves, for fear of harming them. Shocked and frightened by her own powers, Elsa makes the choice to live entirely alone, convinced that the powers she possesses can only harm others. She chooses isolated individualism, living far away from her home in an exquisite crystal castle of her own creation, rebuffing her sister Anna's attempts to bring her back into the larger community. Elsa says, "Yes, I'm alone, but I'm alone and free." The tension between Anna and Elsa and the tension between empowered isolation and the messier realities of living in community with others are resolved through a bit of magic, through what the movie calls an act of true love. It is a superb twist on the usual plot line. The act of true love that leads to happy ending has nothing to do with romance and everything to do with sisterly affection and compassion. And that's pretty much where the first Frozen movie ends. Individual identities have been discovered and embraced, healthy boundaries have been established, and for now the kingdom of Arendelle has been saved. But at the beginning of Frozen 2, something else is calling out to Elsa, something that needs to be explored, something that has to do with some of the undiscovered aspects of the history of Elsa and Anna's family and their culture. I'll share a little bit more about this particular second half of life journey after we listen to the call, the whisper of something beckoning the listener into the unknown from Frozen 2.
I can hear you, but I won't. Some look for trouble while others don't. There's 1,000 reasons I should go about my day and ignore your whispers that I wish would go away. Oh, you're not a voice, you're just a ringing in my ear. And if I heard you, which I don't, I am spoken for, I fear. Everyone I've ever loved is here within these walls. I'm sorry, secret siren, but I'm blocking out your calls. I've had my adventure, I don't need something new. I'm afraid of what I'm risking if I follow you into the unknown, into the unknown, into the unknown. What do you want? 'Cause you've been keeping me awake. Are you here to distract me so I make a big mistake? Or are you someone out there who's a little bit like me, who knows deep down I'm not where I'm meant to be? Every day's a little harder as I feel my powers grow. Don't you know there's part of me that longs to go into the unknown, into the unknown, into the unknown. Oh, are you out there? Do you know me? Can you feel me? Can you show me? Where are you going? Don't leave me alone. How do I follow you into the unknown?
Going back to Richard Rohr for a moment, he writes, "We are a first half of life culture, largely concerned about surviving successfully. Probably most cultures and individuals across history have been situated in the first half of their own development up to now because it is all they had time for. We all try to do what seems like the task that life hands us first, establishing an identity, a home, relationships, friends, community, security, and building a proper platform for our only life. But in order to arrive at second half of life wisdom, Rohr writes, one has to realize there is an incurable wound at the heart of everything. We move toward this second half of life wisdom when we are able to recognize the ways in which our families, our communities, and our culture are far less than perfect and are, in fact, in many cases, founded upon lies and harm caused to other families, communities, and cultures. Harm that results in a kind of woundedness experienced by all who were involved and all of their descendants. Frozen 2 addresses these themes by exploring the relationship between Elsa and Anna's kingdom of Arendelle and the indigenous North Oldra people, again as described by blogger J.W. Wartick. It turns out that Elsa and Anna's grandfather made a treaty with the North Oldra but betrayed them, angering the spirits of the forest and leading to a break between the two peoples that appears irreparable. As Elsa and Anna discover the truth of the past, it is Anna who takes direct action to heal the division, realizing that the building of a dam to benefit Arendelle was also a way to destroy North Oldra's way of life. She gets the massive stone giants to destroy the dam, and Arendelle itself is saved by Elsa's magic. In our own world, we have many situations like Arendelle and North Oldra, many situations where one group of people have taken advantage of another, marginalized them, even actively killed them. How do we work to heal those wounds? Perhaps the most important first step, Wartick writes, is to listen, really listen, to the other and take seriously their concerns. Direct action may even be necessary, action that might place one's own interests at risk. Dietrich Bonhoeffer once wrote that peace is something that must be dared. We need to be willing to dare that we can help make amends for past mistakes and try to bring healing in places where there has been only hurt. This central theme of risk-taking in the face of seemingly irreparable harm in Frozen 2 brings to my mind the work of one of my seminary professors, Sharon Welch, who wrote in her seminal work, A Feminist Ethic of Risk, "We are well aware of the costs of systems of injustice, but find it impossible to act against them because no definitive solutions are in sight." Welch, a social ethicist, argues for moving from an ethic of control, which is a hallmark of first half of life living, toward an ethic of risk, which is necessary for moving towards second half of life wisdom. In other words, nothing in the world becomes more just or more loving when we are mired in self-serving control and safety and ignorance of the ways in which our own culture and society is responsible for great harm to others. The only way any of this changes, and the only way we grow toward greater wisdom and understanding, is to take risks. Sometimes risks that can seem or are existential in nature, risks that can threaten to shake the very foundations of our families, our communities, and our society. And we, at least those of us who have been members of the dominant groups in our culture, tend not to get involved in situations if we do not believe we have a chance of controlling the outcome. If we see clear social injustices all around, but we cannot see clear, definitive solutions, we tend not to act. But as demonstrated in the Frozen movies, our true power lies not in working toward some kind of omnipotent control, but rather working to heal rifts and create something new, something that has been described by others as the beloved community. And to make this move, one must be willing to live with considerable uncertainty and risk. Each of us is on a journey of one sort or another, although it's sometimes hard to conceptualize of our lives in that way. The journey is made richer and more meaningful when we're able to learn a few things along the way. When we are able, as Anna and Elsa were able, to move from first half of life concerns with identity and safety to second half of life wisdom, which allows us a deeper understanding of life and the possibility of repair and healing. I hope and pray that we might remember these lessons and that we might become wiser, more compassionate, and more engaged people. May it be so. Amen. The song Casey is about to sing for us, Show Yourself, comes at a pivotal moment in Frozen 2. Elsa's journey leads her across the dark sea to Otterhallen, which is known as the River of Memory. There she finally uncovers the mystery of what happened between the peoples of Arendelle and the North Aldra, as well as discovering the source of her powers. It is a transformative moment for her character, in part because she's no longer fearful. As one of the lines from Show Yourself says, Elsa is no longer trembling. She has grown into her abilities and come to terms both with her truest self and with the painful history of her family and her society.
Every inch of me is trembling, but not from the cold. Something is familiar, like a dream I can reach but not quite hold. I can sense you there, like a friend I've always known. I'm arriving, but it feels like I am home. I have always been a fortress, hold secrets deep inside. You have secrets too, but you don't have to hide. Show yourself, I'm dying to meet you. Show yourself, it's your turn. Are you the one I've been looking for all of my life? Show yourself, I'm ready to learn. I've never felt so certain. All my life I've been torn, but I'm here for a reason. Could it be the reason I was born? I've always been so different. Normal rules did not apply. Is this the day? Are you the way? I finally find out why. Show yourself, I'm no longer trembling. Here I am, I've come so far. You are the answer I've waited for all of my life. Oh,
As you may have read in this week's Beat, we are shifting from designated offerings to a Share the Plate program, in which 50% of all non-pledge collections each and every Sunday will be given to one of our social justice partner organizations. The other 50% of non-pledge collections will benefit Sunnyhill. Each month, we will feature one partner organization, which will be our Share the Plate beneficiary for the month. Our Share the Plate beneficiary for January will be the Afro-American Music Institute, or AAMI. AAMI is a Pittsburgh-based organization dedicated to promoting the arts. It has nurtured thousands of musicians through an educational curriculum designed by Dr. James T. Johnson, Jr. AAMI helps students realize their potential through learning that embraces music from the African diaspora. If you'd like to make a gift via our online giving system, you can do so by going to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says Online Giving, and then follow the instructions. Or you can give by text at 412-324-3130. For those of you who are here with us in person, we'll pass around the offering baskets in just a moment. Thank you for your generosity.
Back in 2020, the first time we had a Frozen service, Alex Farb sang a Kristoff song. He's one of the other main characters, and I'm so grateful that he's home from college right now and agreed to reprise his role. If you don't know, this song takes place during Frozen 2, and Kristoff is questioning his future with Anna, and Jim and I are backup singing reindeer.
Again you're gone, off on a different path than mine. I'm left behind, wondering if I should follow. You had to go, and of course that's always fine. I probably could catch up with you tomorrow. But is this what it feels like to be falling apart? When I was all the one who's always chasing your heart. Now I turn around and find I am lost in the woods. North to south, day is night when you're not there. I'm the one who sees you home, but now I'm lost in the woods, and I don't know what path you are on. I'm lost in the woods. Up till now, the next step was a question of how. I never thought it'd be a question of whether. Who am I if I'm not your guy? Where am I if we're not together? Forever. Now I know you're my true north, 'cause I am lost in the woods. Up is down, day is night when you're not there. Oh, you're my only landmark, so I'm lost in the woods, wondering if you still care. But I'll wait for a sign that I'm your path, 'cause you are mine. Until then, I'm lost in the woods. I'm lost in the woods. I'm lost in the woods.
Please join me in saying the words for extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
I'd like to give a special shout out to Mary Pratt and Rini Monteverdi for pulling all the music together today. It was fabulous. Also, thanks to our featured soloists, including Laurel Pratt and Casey Craig. Is Casey around? She's in youth group again. And also Alex Barb. Thank you all. These closing words come from Andy Pakula. May you know fully and deeply the blessings of each of your heart's seasons, the inward turning of winter, springtime's lush renewal, the effortless steady growth of summer, and autumn's rich harvest. May your passage from season to season be blessed, eased by hands to hold and by the light of love to guide you on. Go in peace.